Poetic devices, theme and tone in My Mother at 66. Dear students, let's discuss how poetic devices make this poem a beautiful piece of verse. In the first lines of the poem, driving from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday morning, I saw my mother beside me. In these lines, the poet uses the poetic device assonance, where we see the use of the vowel sound O. In the line where it says, to Cochin last Friday morning. To Cochin, O. The sound of O has been used over here. This is a vowel sound, so the poetic device used is assonance. In the next line, those open mouth, her face ashen like that of a corpse and realized with pain. In these lines, the poetic devices used are assonance, where the vowel sound O and A has been used. For O, the example is doors, open mouth, and for A, the example is ashen, face ashen, her face ashen like that of a corpse. And the second poetic device used in these lines is simile, where the poet compares the color of her mother's face with that of a corpse, where she says her face ashen like that of a corpse. Now, because the word like has been used in making a comparison, so this comparison is a simile. In the next lines, the poet says that she was as old as she looked, but soon put that thought away and looked out at young trees sprinting, the merry children spilling out of their homes. The poetic devices used in these lines are as follows. Starting with personification, where the young trees have been compared to human beings, where the poet says the young trees sprinting. Now, trees cannot sprint, they cannot run, but because they are compared to human beings, they seem to be running with the speed of the car, so personification has been used. Then another poetic device used in these lines is consonance, where the use of the sound T has been repeated in the lines when the poet says, soon put that thought away, that thought. So that's the repeated sound of T. Another poetic device used here is symbolism, where the young trees and the merry children are symbolized. They are symbolic of life moving on despite the troubles one faces. They also symbolize energy, vitality, and youthfulness. Another poetic device that the poet uses in these lines is imagery, where the poet uses words that produce a mental picture. When you read the lines, young trees sprinting and merry children spilling out of their homes, an image of trees running backwards, speeding backwards, happy children running out of their homes can be visualized. Now that is the use of imagery in the poem. Then the poet has also used the poetic device of repetition, where she has repeatedly used the word looked. When she says she looked, that she was as old as she looked, but soon put the thought away and looked out at the young trees sprinting. So that's a contrast that she shows over here with this repetition, where she says that she was looking old, and so she tried to put that thought away and she started looking outside. Then in the next lines, but after the airport security check, standing a few yards away, I looked again at her, wan, pale, as a late winter's moon, and felt that old familiar ache, my childhood's fear. Poetic devices used in these lines are simile, for one, where the mother's face is compared to a late winter's moon. Both are dull and lifeless. That is, mother's face and the winter moon seem to be dull and lifeless, and these two are compared using the word as. So it is a simile. The poet has also used the poetic device tautology, where the poet, while referring to the pale face of the mother, uses two words with the same meaning, where she says wan, pale. I looked at her again, wan, pale, as a late winter's moon. Now, wan and pale, they both mean the same thing. So when such two words meaning the same are put together in a verse, the poetic device is tautology. So in the last line she says, "But all I said was see you soon, Amma, and all I did was smile and smile and smile." The poetic device used over here is repetition with the word smile, because she's stressing upon the fact that she's hiding her fear. So this repetition is employed to emphasize the fear and the pain of the poet. Secondly, the rhyme scheme used over here in this poem is no rhyme scheme. In other words, we can always say that it is written in free verse. The main theme of the poem is based upon freedom, love, protection, fear, and love of her mother. The prominent features of Kamla Das's poetry are an acute obsession with love, and in this poem her tone is full of confession. She is full of guilt that she is leaving her mother all alone at a time that she probably needs her the most. And so she is confessing her fears and how she tries to hide those fears and her guilt over the situation. Now a few words about the poet. Kamla Suraya was popularly known by her one-time pen name Madhvi Kutti and her married name Kamla Das. She was an Indian poet in English as well as an author in Malayalam from Kerala. Her popularity is based chiefly on her short stories and autobiography, while her work in English, written under the pen name Kamla Das, is noted for her poems and explicit autobiography. She was also a widely read columnist and wrote on diverse topics including women's issues, childcare, politics, and the likes. Her liberal treatment of female sexuality marked her as an iconoclast in popular culture of her generation. In other words, Kamla Das is essentially known for her bold and frank expression in writing. This brings us to the end of discussion on poetic devices, tone, theme, and about the poet Kamla Das and her poem My Mother at 66. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you liked the video. And if you did like it, kindly give a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and do share as much as possible. Thank you.